Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be covering a couple of different steps that you can take as an Amazon FBA wholesale seller within the UK to prepare for VAT registration. So VAT registration for the majority of sellers, even for me when I went VAT registered, is definitely a very daunting, a very scary part of your business journey. And I think mainly because of the lack of knowledge that most people have within this sector. So just to sort of touch on VAT registration a bit more, VAT registration within an Amazon business in the UK affects your margins pretty massively. I don't think many people are actually prepared for it and many people understand how it actually works. So just for some context, it will roughly affect your margins by around about 8 to 12%. So if you were making 20% margin before, you're now going to be making between 8 to 12% gross margin before you actually encounter any of your overheads. So you need to make sure that you are maintaining and sustaining a good margin before you actually hit the VAT registration threshold. So within this video, we're just going to cover a couple of different tips that we recommend to use for preparing for VAT registration. So just before we jump into the tips for VAT registration, just to outline what VAT registration actually is you will now have to start paying a proportion of your revenue to HMRC in the form of VAT or value added tax. This basically means if you sell something for £12, including VAT, you'll now have to pay £2 of that 12 to HMRC in the form of VAT. Now, it's not all bad. You do get to claim VAT back on any business expenses and any product costs. So say, for example, you were buying the product for £4 plus VAT. That's going to be £4.80 including VAT. So you now get to claim the 80p back that you were paying in VAT before, but you now have to actually pay the £2 on the sale price. You are actually net £1.20 down on where you was before you went VAT registered. So that's going to have in that example, that would have a 10% impact on your profit margins. As you can see, it does affect you quite massively when it comes to VAT registration. So here's a couple of tips that you can use to prepare VAT registration. So first one being is set yourself a set margin and do not revert from this. So set a margin that you are going to take across all of your products and do not fall below this margin. Lots of people and lots of sellers will unfortunately fall into the habit of taking lower margin products than they initially intended for the simple purpose that the product sells X amount of times per month and they can make X amount of profit per month. So maybe somebody can make £1,000 profit per month from a low margin, fast selling deal. They'll be more inclined to take that deal, and this is only going to set you back at VAT registration because it's just going to make it unsustainable. And what's probably going to happen is you're going to have to drop the product when you go VAT registered, which is not good. Tip number 2 is ensure that you are negotiating accurately and efficiently in all deals. You need to make sure that every single time a supplier sends you a pricing file, that you are negotiating heavily and making sure that you can get the best cost price possible when buying the products. Even if on the face of it you may be making a good margin, you should still negotiate and you should still push for the absolute best price that you can possibly achieve within that deal. This will just de-risk your strategy massively when you go VAT registered. Step number 3 is actually work out your margins as if you were VAT registered before you actually go VAT registered. So again, maintain a set margin that you are looking to achieve after you go VAT registered and work out all of your products as if you were VAT registered. And if they do not sort of meet these margins, then go back to the supplier, try renegotiate. And if you can't, then you may just have to drop the products. And don't be scared to walk away from deals that don't meet your expectation on margin and ROI, as this is falling into the trap of buying low margin deals is something that lots of people get involved with and will kill them at VAT registration. VAT registration kills so many Amazon businesses, and it just becomes demoralizing when you go VAT registered and it just kills your margin and you end up making pretty much nothing. So yeah, always maintain a set margin and prepare yourself for VAT registration. Understand what it means, what it does, and yeah, prepare yourself for it. And step number 4 is going back to the negotiations and cost prices again. but it's actually just making sure you are at the highest point in the supply chain as possible when buying your products. You know, if you're at a wholesale level and you could be buying from a distributor level, or you could be buying from brand direct, you need to be exploring these opportunities and seeing the best prices you can possibly get from various different suppliers and various different wholesalers. And it may not even be the brand direct that can give you the best price. You want to be exploring all of the different opportunities and making sure that you are getting the best cost prices possible on your products to ultimately get ahead of your competition. So those are the key steps that we would advise taking pre-VAT registration. Now, if you need help scaling your Amazon FBA business, maybe you're doing 5, 10, 20K a month in revenue, there's a link in the description to a free training video that we've put together that outlines some of the key principles that took us all the way from the 10, 20K a month mark all the way to well over 100K a month. So go in the description, click on the link in the video, and at the end of the video, there will be an option to schedule in a call with either myself or one of my team to see if we can help you scale your Amazon business further. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.